Hi kids and everyone joining Roma's Voice Library. I am as usual underneath the mango tree and this fat book awaits you because today's story is called Two Frogs. You know what's a frog, right? It's an amphibian. So it can live in water and it can also live on land. Well, I wonder what these two frogs are up to. Are they living on land? Are they living on water? Are they going to turn into princes? Nah, I don't think so. But let's find out. Once upon a time, in the country of Japan, there lived two frogs, one of whom made his home in a ditch near the town of Osaka on the seacoast, while the other dwelled in a clear little stream which ran through the city of Kyoto. So Kyoto and Osaka are two cities in Japan. At such a great distance apart, they had never even heard of each other, but oddly enough, the idea came into both their heads at the same time that they should like to see a little of the world, and the frog who lived in Kyoto wanted to visit Osaka, and the frog who lived near Osaka wished to go to Kyoto, where the great Mikado had his palace. So one fine morning in the spring, they both set out along the roads that led from Kyoto to Osaka, one frog coming from Osaka and the other from Kyoto. The journey was more tiring than they expected, for they did not know much about traveling, nor that halfway between the two towns there rose a mountain which had to be climbed. It took them a long while and a great many hops to reach the top. But there they were at last, and what was the surprise of each to see another frog before him. Wait, have you ever seen frogs climbing mountains? I haven't actually. These are really adventurous pair of frogs, don't you think so? They looked at each other for a moment without speaking and then fell into conversation, explaining the cause of their meeting so far from their homes. It was delightful to find that they both felt the same wish to learn a little more of their native country, and as there was no sort of hurry, they stretched themselves out in a cool, damp place and agreed that they would have a good rest before they parted to go their separate ways. "What a pity we are not bigger," said the Osaka frog, "for then we could see both towns from here and tell if it's worth our while going on." "Oh, that is easily managed," returned the Kyoto frog. "We have only to stand up on our hind legs and hold on to each other, and then we can each look at the town we're traveling to." Whoa, these frogs are a smart bunch. They know exactly what they should be doing. This idea pleased the Osaka frog so much that he at once jumped up and put his front feet on the shoulders of his friend, who had also risen. There they both stood, stretching themselves as high as they could and holding to each other tightly so that they might not fall down. The Kyoto frog turned his nose toward Osaka, and the Osaka frog turned his nose toward Kyoto. But the foolish things forgot that when they stood up on their great eyes lay in the back of their heads, and that through their noses might point to the places to which they wanted to go. Their eyes beheld the places from which they had come. "Dear me," cried the Osaka frog, "Kyoto is exactly like Osaka. It is certainly not worth such a long journey. I shall go home." "If I'd had any idea that Osaka was only a copy of Kyoto, I should never have traveled all this way," exclaimed the frog from Kyoto. And as he spoke, he took his hands from his friend's shoulders and they both fell down on the grass. Then the two frogs took a polite farewell of each other and set off for home again. And to the end of their lives, they believed that Osaka and Kyoto, which are as different to look at as two towns can be, were alike as two peas. Wow. It seems like the two frogs made a little mistake, a little miscalculation. When they were looking at the towns, they were actually looking at the exact town that they came from. Kyoto frog looking at Kyoto, Osaka frog looking at Osaka. And that's why they thought that both towns actually looked the same. So before you take a final decision, maybe it's a good thing to kind of cross-check and make sure that you're making the right decision. I'll see you next time.